Parshas Balak. I'm struck this time every year by the fact that we have Parshas named after Noach and Yisro who weren't even Jewish, and this week's Parsha named after Balak, the arch-enemy of the Jewish people. Yet we don't have a Parsha named after Moshe, Aaron, the Avos. We just have Pinchas and Chaim. When I teach Nach, I particularly enjoy comparing and contrasting the lives of various personalities in Tanakh. There's a famous Mishnah in Avos that we're all familiar with. Kol mi sheyesh bo shalosha dvarim halalu, says the Mishnah. Whoever has these three traits, hareza mitalmidav shel Avraham, can be considered to be a disciple of Avraham. V'chol mi she'ein bo shalosha dvarim halalu, and anyone who does not have these three traits, hareza mitalmidav shel Bilam, is considered to be a disciple of Bilam. What are these three things? Ayin tova, nefesh shefala, v'ruach nemucha. The three traits that make the difference between a hero and a villain. You're happy for other people, you're not overly indulgent, and you're humble. Now I'd have expected the Mishnah perhaps to contrast Bilam with Moshe. After all, they're both the great Nevi'im, the great prophets. Why Avraham? I'd like to suggest that Avraham was known as Avraham HaIvri. Ivri meaning apart, aside, the other side from everyone else. Avraham isn't someone who looks over his shoulder to see what everyone else is doing before he acts. Rather, Avraham is always looking to do what's right, even if that means taking an unpopular stance. The exact opposite of Bilam, who has such an ego, ruach gavoya, such an ego that he even has to have the last word with his donkey. He needed the prestige and the money, nefesh rachava, from Balak and his cronies. He professed not to do anything that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wouldn't allow him to do. But there was a price that could help him change that. Today, some may call that being a politician. In truth, though, Chazal point out that there were in fact many parallels between Avraham and Bilam. They both get up early to saddle their donkeys, vayashkein baboka. Both are accompanied by two young men on their journey, and a malach appears to each of them. Both Avraham and Bilam are called to leave their land and to go westward to or near the land of Canaan. But while Avraham is called by Hashem to go, lech lecha, Bilam is told by Hashem to stay, lo yiselech. And here the similarity ends. Avraham sees, while Bilam chooses not to see. Avraham is told by Hashem, Lech lecha me'aretzecha u'meladzecha mibeis avicha el ha'aretz asher ar'eka. Go to the land which I will show you. Don't just listen, but see. It's not enough for Avraham to just obey. We also have to learn to see. To find Eretz Yisrael, to find the chosen land, Avraham has to be able to see what HaKadosh Baruch Hu is giving him. He has to learn to see. And that's why the climax of Avraham's trials, Akedas Yitzchak, which also begins with Lech Lecha, is all about seeing properly, seeing the place from a distance, telling Yitzchak that Hashem will see the sheep, seeing the malach, seeing the ram, even naming the place Behar Hashem Yera'eh. Avraham's career begins with seeing and it ends with seeing. Seeing what Hashem is showing him, seeing as Hashem would see. Bilam kind of listens to Hashem, but chooses to see things his own way. He reluctantly agrees to go and to listen to what Hashem tells him, but he clearly has a warped view on everything. Hashem warns him that the Bnei Yisrael are blessed. Hashem is letting him know what the true, deeper reality is. But, of course, Bilam chooses to see things his own way. Rashi tells us, he saw that it was this idea of going was something bad in the eyes kaviyachol of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and he still wanted to go. He doesn't care how Hashem sees the matter. It's only his perspective that counts. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu brought a donkey to try and teach him a lesson. And 3 times we read, Vateireh ha'osayin, the donkey saw. The donkey saw what even Bilam couldn't or didn't, what Bilam chose not to. Because animals see things for what they are. They don't have prejudices and preconceived biases. But Bilam is incapable still of seeing it for himself. So Hashem helps him out. Vayagal Hashem es einei Bilam, and Hashem opens up Bilam's eyes. And Bilam's response is astounding. Vayomer Bilam Melech Hashem, and Bilam says to the angel of God, Chatasi, I have sinned, ki lo yadati, I didn't realize. Ki ata nitzov likrosi b'darech, that you were standing to greet me on the way. Va'ata imra be'einecha ashuvali. Now if it's bad in your eyes, Hashem, if it's bad in your eyes, Hashem, I still don't get it. I can listen to you, Bilam says, but I still choose to see things my evil way. And the end result is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu demonstrates that it doesn't work that way. Bilam's attempt to only see things his way doesn't turn out very well for him. He has to learn the hard way with his nefarious plans to curse the Bnei Yisrael being foiled. It's not until he's repeatedly blessed the Bnei Yisrael, and he's being challenged by Balak for it, that he has an epiphany. Vayar Bilam, and Bilam sees. For the first time he opens his eyes, and he sees Ki toiv be'einei Hashem levarchas Yisrael, that it's good in the eyes of God Kaviyachol to bless Yisrael. He sees. And it's at this stage that he looks favourably on his former enemy. And he declares, Ma toivu halecha Yaakov, wow, I never realised. Look at Klal Yisrael. They are amazing. What's the first difference that the Mishnah tells us between being an Avraham or a Bilam? Having an ayin tova as opposed to having an ayin ra. Ayin tova means having the right perspective and attitude to see things in the right light. In Mitzvah Hashem, this week we are beginning to come back to our shuls, and it's going to be very challenging for us. We are coming back to a different reality. Social distancing, wearing masks, no singing, no socializing. But let's not be a Bilam and look at this with an ayin ra. No. We must learn from Avraham to see this with an ayin tova. Whether we are able to come back to shul yet or not, we must thank Hashem that we're beginning to come out of this, and we have to look at the situation with an ayin tova. It's not enough to perform the mitzvahs, to daven and learn regularly, but we have to do so with an ayin tova. We must recognize that each and every mitzvah is an opportunity to improve us, to make us a better person. Don't just listen, but see. Good Shabbos.